Raid testing results. What's up guys, Petko here. Finally, for the past couple of weeks we've been PTR testing raiding, and we have more kind of semi-complete information of how things are looking so far. Again, there's a couple weeks until the season starts, so things will definitely change, but I'm gonna present you the data we have available. Shout out to the person called Robbie Dobby or the Champs on Twitter. He made the spreadsheet, somebody linked it in the chat for me, and I saw it. I was like, you know what, it's a good video to make, talk about it and see exactly which classes are doing good, which one are doing bad, and what exactly is going to change. So these results, first of all, are from several bosses on both Heroic and Mythic. These are the very first results from the end of June, which, as you can see, on the very top of the bracket, you have a BM Hunter and MM Hunter. Now keep in mind, this was a pre-nerf MM Dark Ranger Hunter, which was doing the best DPS, and as you can see, Shadow Priest and MM are topping on the Forge Weaver Heroic. If I scroll to the right side, again, similar results. As you can see, MM Hunter is absolutely blasting, followed by Shadow, BM, Arcane, those on top. And on the very bottom, let me check who we're checking out. Yeah, very bottom, as you can see, we're having a Arms Warrior, Brewmaster, and Unholy. They're actually kind of close in damage. Like, Brew against Survival is getting pretty close, but I would assume that Survival might not have been playing as good just because the damage is very close together. But yeah, that's pretty much for the very top of the bracket. Let's check the rest of the bosses. I'll link you the spreadsheet. We see balance rate. Okay, so to talk about balance rate, and again, there's nothing that got changed for balance except the tier set nerf, which happened 2 weeks ago. Currently, Keeper of the Grove is likely the best funnel in the game right now. I know it's surprising to hear that balance has the best funnel in the game. Yes, balance actually crazy if you play Keeper of the Grove and if there's like funnel around you. Crazy good during cooldowns. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna get nerfed. I mean, just no way it's gonna stay like this. But as you can see, Shadow Priest still stays on the very top, followed by MM Hunter, Dark Ranger likely. These are, I think, like several hundred testing. Yeah, several hundred actually data points. 900, I believe, to be exact on this boss. So as you can see, there's like a wide variety of people with different skill levels, and those are the links for the fight and logs itself, so you guys can check them out yourself. But on the very top, I'm surprised to see Windwalker actually also part of there. Actually, one of the highest log is also Windwalker. Crazy. The guy must be cooking something. Maybe playing Celestial. Believe that's better right now burst wise. I'm not sure if in a long run Shadowpan might compare. Anyway, so I'm gonna skip through the boss fight. This is full funnel fight. Balance is just absolutely blasting. Again, MM balance. We see this was the end of June. Now starting from this week, which is again the first resumed raid testing. I believe we did it on Wednesday. The results are, as you can see, Prot Paladin. So Prot Paladin had a very, major bug for a day that got hotfixed, but it was pretty much doing the best DPS on ST. As you can see, this is pre-nerf Prot Paladin. That's how busted it was. But after this day, they nerfed it, so that's fine. But MM Hunter still on the very top, followed by BM. Frost Decay, this is post-buff Frost Death Knight climbing on top, and Shadow still tackling back. Shadow has been, again, dominant throughout the whole raid testing so far. At least to my experience, every time that I've raid tested, there was at least one Shadow Priest that performed really good. So MM, BM, Survival is actually, MM, BM, Frost Decay on the very top, followed by Shadow, Balance Druid. So once again, I'm surprised that Unholy climbed from the very top to the bottom. From the bottom to the top, which again, because of the buffs, they were able to do so. However, this is something that kind of concerns me. Ellie Shaman actually having quite bad single target, bottom 5 so far. I believe this is before the buffs to Affliction and Destruction single target. Outlaw also pretty poor single target. However, it's the same thing also in Mythic Plus. From all of my testing so far with Outlaw, I cannot get to do single target without spec. Like, I'm actually doing pretty good AoE damage with Outlaw, but my ST sucks. So I was thinking, hold up, maybe I'm bad, or maybe there's like a different raid build. But as I can see here on the data, majority of the Outlaw rogues are actually doing pretty similar damage in raiding, which is kind of surprising to be said. One of the lowest right now single targets. Augmentation actually quite in the middle, so not too shabby here. I'm still surprised with the Protection Paladin, but I believe, again, this is pre-nerf. You're going to see the next page, post-nerf. It would definitely be impactful. But yeah, let's see the next boss. is heroic Lomitar. We have once again similar classes, nothing else has changed. Demon actually right here started to climb some spot. I believe this is a pre-nerf Demon as well. Fire Mage also on the top of the bracket. It's climbing higher than Arcane on this boss fight, which obviously would have made sense just because of the way of the boss fight works around. Once again, on the very bottom, we see Affliction, Outlaw currently, and Destruction. I believe Destruction and Affliction, again, this is pre-nerf, pre-buff, pre-buff, Affliction, and Destruction. After that, they got slightly better, single target, and Protection Paladin. As you can see, it was top on the last lock. Right now, it's actually on the bottom, still by far the best single target from any tank currently. And last but not least, something that surprised me the most, in my opinion, is going to be Blood Death Knight actually having the lowest single target. Brew also not doing that great in this boss fight, which is surprising. Bruce here should be topping big time against Guardian and Vengeance. Okay, let's move forward to Soulbinder here. BM Hunter takes the cake. Again, unlimited mobility. Your tier set is super OP. I wouldn't be surprised if I see the tier set getting nerfed. One surprising data here is augmentation on this boss fight, specifically climbing to actually be top 5 DPS, which is surprising. But as you can see, the same classes cycle. They cycle. Every single boss fight, it's always the same thing. You know, they're not changing. Top 5, top 6 picks right now are cycling. Subrogue, surprised to see such a high lock on Subrogue. Again, Subrogue burst capabilities are pretty strong. The biggest issue I'm having right now with Sub is like the town dam in between, but I'm sure they're gonna handle that one. Anyway, this is from the 10th of July, and no surprise, once again, BM on top, Frost Shadow, Demolock, Unholy. Unholy, actually, I don't know why is it there, but it's medium 99 percentile damage is not that high, so I'm kind of surprised. Hunter balance doing way better here. Which is a good thing. And Armor's Warrior, Red Paladin on the very bottom, again with Outlaw, unfortunately. Quite sad, I must say, but sometimes in life it is what it is, you know. Somebody gotta be the bottom, boys. And in this case, it's gonna be Outlaw paired with Survival and Destruction Warlock. Elemental also hanging on the bottom on single target, kind of surprise here. Lomitar once again this time around on mythic difficulty. Havoc DH actually fucking blasting. Person called Alexian, don't know who that is, but he apparently cooked big time here since he's the only lock of Havoc actually topping the meters. Medium performance, we're having a slight shift to Frost Death Knight. Again, Frost Decay showing why it needed the buffs. Obviously, it was doing pretty bad. That's why Blizzard buffed it. What can I say else? Fury Warrior actually surprised top 6 pick. To be honest with you, Slayer Fury this pretty good single target, so not that surprising. The only question mark for Fury Warrior is their mass AoE. Like as long, I mean, I even showed it today. As long as I pull like up to 5-6 targets, Fury was doing okay. But the moment I pulled large, I mean, I fell behind. But same spec cycle right now. You see less Hunter post nerfs compared to Beast Mastery, but they're still up there. Shadow Priest still up there. Obviously, Frost Decay gets the cake. Once again, same classes: BM, Shadow, Frost Decay, This time around, Fire Mage instead of freaking climbing on the ladder. But they are pretty close in performance. As you can see, the lock here, very close in performance. 0.02, I think, difference, which is not too bad. Enhanced pumping, affliction on the bottom, survival on the bottom here. Kind of disappointed to see survival on the bottom, to be honest with you, because the performance of survival actually doing pretty well in Mythic Plus. But yeah, same classes. I believe this should be the buff to Asarok, but yeah, Asarok actually climbing here. This is Outlaw, but because there's again, every time there's AoE, Outlaw will do good. Like the single target of Outlaw, like pure one target, is just doing bad. You're better off playing Sub or Asa in that regard, I would say. Red Paladin, unfortunately, bottom 5 right around this fight, not too shabby. And this is from list yesterday, the Forge Weaver on Mythic. No data yet, but as you guys can see, no, actually, those guys will, maybe they're not yet filled in. I'm not sure, but these were supposed to be filled. Yeah, okay. I mean, so far, guys, we have a kind of like results that we thought it would be, you know, kind of the case. I expected Shadow Priest to be topping with Frost Decay because Frost Decay got buff this week. I expected to see BM Hunter because way too strong what here said, especially after the buffs to physical damage dealers because of Mystic Touch. I also expected to see Fire Mage up there, and to be honest with you, in several fights, balance with a funnel would have been also insane. So I'm not too surprised. I'm surprised that Enhanced is not top 5. It was like top 7, top 6 most of the time. That Outlaw was bottom. That Fury was outperforming Arms in some of the boss fights. Again, I saw that, for example, Pharaoh is very underrepresented. Not many locks coming from Pharaoh. Obviously, balance is the go-to choice. David Walker did pretty well here. Ele Shaman, unfortunately, very poor on single target. Afterlock, Destro also pretty poor with Outlaw Rock itself. All the mage specs did okay. I mean, Fire and Arcane, obviously the clear winners, but Frost wasn't that far behind, as you can see here. You know, Frost even sometimes can beat Arcane. They're, again, very close in performance. So if you have mage main going to next season, all mage specs right now doing pretty good, both raid and mythic plus. And hunters, BM, and MM are monsters. Even survival is doing pretty good in mythic plus. I guess the only lock spec viable right now, or at least decent damage wise, is Demonology. The rest are pretty bad. And warriors in raiding, they are always gonna be must have because of battle shout. Question is, are they strong enough to be like replicated to have several copies of warrior? I don't think it's gonna show us. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the preview. We're gonna do something similar by the end of the PTR raid testing, and I'm gonna show you how the results have changed. Once again, shout out to the person that made this graphic, very useful stuff. Let me check the name. He is Champs or Robbie Dobby. Shout out to you, you're a champ, and I will be looking forward to see the updated version at the end of July. Until then, you guys have a good one. Take care. I'll see you on stream. Bye for now.